may not be permanent. They may grow out of it. They may decide to
blip blap. Good evening. Post-Vietnam reality. Good evening, post-Vietnam reality. This is the Mystery Font 42. And Nazi grime is trying to pull Nancy Mace into a grave. This kind of brown shirt Nazi violence and menacery is catastrophe. And she is totally out of control. She is having an episode that is intentional. She is having an episode of lynch mob brain syndrome that spreads and murders. And this kind of brown shirt insanity is not going to be tolerated. We are experiencing massive distortions in the field of reality. And one of the purveyors of lynch mob brain syndrome is Nancy Mace. We are not dealing here with a good faith actor. Nancy Mace is corrupted by Nazis and intolerance, and to demonstrate just how catastrophic the mess with Nancy is, we should just let her speak for herself, because she is around the mental bend. She is a monster. Let's take a look. Next on Holy Shit. Why would someone think to say that, you ask? Why would someone think to say the vomit coming from the mouth of this ridiculous insurrectionist and categorical Nazi? Why would anyone behave as she behaves? Why? Are we seeing only Nancy do this? No. She's not the only one using shocking boundary violations. Monsters like Tom Homan and Stephen Miller are having their own path of lynch mob brain syndrome spreading. Stephen Miller really has a brand, but sometimes it gets wiped off. So if you see Stephen Miller and he's not covered somewhere with the letter M, if Stephen Miller is currently visible to you and not marked with the letter M, repair that situation, because M marks the murderer. Let's take a look at what's happening with Nancy Grace. Pardon me, Nancy Mace. She's the opposite of Grace these days, isn't she? What happens when you lose contact with the human race? When you lose contact with humanity itself? Let's hear her words enter decay. Now, is she lying or not? Because I think she makes a stunning revelation here. She admits to something here tonight. A year ago, it seems. She admits, and you will hear it right here, to something I don't think anyone realizes might come out of the mouth of someone who is part of the Ku Klux Klan's Make America Great Again terrorism death cult. Let's listen. Let's see if we can get this up here.
Compassion.
There we are. Okay.
Fundamental.
Well, I'm pro transgender rights. I'm pro LGBTQ. Just don't go to the extreme with our kids.
Is compassion fundamental to your politics?
It is. It is. Compassion is fundamental because I think in a lot of ways Republicans come across as cold and unfeeling and not compassionate, especially when we're talking about sensitive issues like gun violence or like abortion. We come across as so unwavering and unfeeling. I'm a conservative. I'm also a mom.
That wants to be in
I
a woman's
feel the pain when there's a
restroom,
mass
bathroom,
shooting
dressing
because
room, locker
I've been in the
room.
car for a while, and I've gone to drop off my kids at school. And
Absolutely
as
not.
moms, you wonder, is our school next? What can we do to keep our communities and our kids safe? So I touch a lot of sensitive subjects
this?
because I want to
This
show that
says
as
you
conservatives, we
can't
can be
erase us,
compassionate. We
Nancy.
can show love.
Well, then
How
you
does it-
shouldn't try to erase women.
We have heard something stunning here. This is an exclusive. I don't know that anyone else is pointing the light on this stunning admission from a harpy of MAGA.
Subjects because I want to show that as conservatives, we can be compassionate. We can show love.
How does
What? They can show love? What? What? Why has this been hidden? If it's possible for them to show love, that would mean that there's something wrong with Nancy, because listen.
I have to say, for any man that wants to be in a woman's restroom, bathroom, dressing room, locker room, absolutely not.
Okay, so my question is, I have a question then. Gosh, because I think a lot of us can agree. Wow, this is interesting. We have some major revelations here. We have some major revelations. Not only does Nancy Mace inform us that MAGA can feel love. That's a stunning admission. Or is that news to her? It's a big deal, but it's on the record, and wow, that's a source of hope. But let's take a look at this. They can be compassionate. They can show love. And she wants to keep men from being in women's restrooms. She wants to keep men from fiddling and diddling and interfering where it's a space for women. Why, Nancy, do you want those men who prove time and time again to actually be the ones who are being arrested? Why are you giving them a back door to the front door to crack open the front of little girls' and boys' pants? Why are you giving the pedophiles that you claim to want to keep out the keys? Because you're talking about a triple-breasted space drop unicorn blorple clamengibbon. It doesn't exist. There's not a trans woman who is a man who's predating on little girls. That's a man lying to you. You're claiming that trans women are men who are lying to themselves and lying to you. And you know that that's a lie. And that means that you are making an emergency out of a space that was safe. You are endangering a space that is safe for women. And that includes trans women. And it has for thousands of years. You ridiculous, malicious, menacing Nazi menace. There's nothing. There's nothing, not a scrap of anything, in the store of you have love if you are using pure falsehood and pure erasure to construct a boogie person. Because you are the lynch mobber, and the men you are protecting are the pedophiles and the sex traffickers, like J.D. Vance and Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Donald J. Trump. You have joined the Nazi Party. You are a lynch-mobbing Ku Klux Klan menace to public safety. And Carolyn Bryant Dunham is clapping her hands, screaming your praise, wearing a resplendent lace Ku Klux Klan hood, looking down from the devil's own promontory somewhere within the catastrophe of the falsehood. You are a criminal and you are a terrorist. This is terrorism because the people you are attacking are not men and they're not pedophiles. If you could bring up an instance in which this had happened, you would. But you are attacking trans women who make that space safer. You are a stated ally of the LGBTQ community who are categorically targeting the people who made Stonewall happen. You are a Nazi particle menace of violence. It will stop because it will be stopped. Find your heart, find your capacity for love if you weren't lying about its existence. You are pulling a switcheroo because the men you're looking to catch are standing behind you going, when do I get to expect them? When do I get to expect inspecting those panties? You are letting in the new Epsteins. You are letting in Ryan Walters, who wants to sup at the panties of boys and girls. Boy and Gerbil, Boiler. You are a Nazi menace. How would you like to be surrounded by people holding you from a bathroom for 2 weeks? How would you like to never know porcelain outside of your home ever again? How would you like to meet everywhere you go the sign, Nancy? How would you like to meet every single place that you go the sign? The same sign. That no matter where you go, you find it. A sign saying, no, Nancy, no. Here's somewhere you will not go. Here's somewhere we hold from you, though. Oh, you're feeling uncomfortable? Oh, you're a member of the human race, Nancy? I don't see that marked down here, Nancy. They'll say, good golly Goshensteins, we don't have you down here as part of human family. You ridiculous terrorist. You're not welcome. We don't know why you came. That you will not be accepted anywhere. That no one will even know your name. Because you are menace. Because you are anti-dancer. Because you are a Ku Klux cuckold. Because you're bringing the particle of hatred. How many different ways would we have to tell you you are the damage, Nancy? How many different ways can we get to that part? Can we get to that part where you hear us say no and you recognize your time has come, where the lie is looking into the camera and the mic is on and there's nobody to push aside or light another fire that we have to put out? We're listening to you. You said that you have the capacity for love. That's a huge campaign promise. That's a huge promise from you as a politician. And we would like to see some evidence of that. Do you have any evidence at all that that's true? Have you met you? Have you by any chance met you though? Because I don't know, Nancy. I don't think that's gonna go. I don't think we believe you though, right? Do you understand? You don't have, we don't believe you. And we shouldn't. You've vacillated pretty significantly, right? You've gone from talking about love to hearing someone say, we will not be erased, and erasing them. You are showing yourself to be Nazi damage. Do you understand? Because what we're on about is that you are a failure to communicate love and kindness, and you are a success at showing abject hate. That is not a welcome or acceptable particle here. Human family says no. We actually absolutely say no to that. It's shocking that you would try. And you count on that shock. You count on that shock to be part of how you achieve ultimate super damage. We see that. We see that. And where is it? Here we are. Oh. I'm just making sure that we have a visual aid that tells us what's happening here, because inquiring minds want to know. We definitely want to know and to show. And there we go. Let's make that a little smaller. Doesn't need to be quite so big to communicate the same idea. There we go. Yay! We have an image for you, Nancy. We have a new pretty picture to talk about stricture. How does that sound? Does that sound swell? Because it is. It sure is. If you were capable of showing love, you would administer it. That's not something you withhold, and you have rescinded it. You have withdrawn it, and you are attempting to discard people from humanity. It's crime, Nancy. It's crime. You could just as easily be Carolyn Bryant Dunham screaming at trial that you are not going to let the mental illness of tolerance blot out your vision of true reality. You're not going to let the mental illness that we're all equal cloud what you know. That's where you are. You are the Ku Klux Klan menace. That's exactly where you are. And you should be deadly ashamed. Yay! Okay, well, we have a nice new image to export to share with Nancy Mace. Am I pronouncing that right? Nazi? Nazi. Nazi menace. Nazi Mace. Gosh, I keep losing track. It's Nazi? It's Nazi Mace, right? Nazi Mace? I think that's how it's pronounced. That's how it seems like it's pronounced. Let's just revisit what she's sharing here.
We do to keep our
Any
communities
man
and our
that
kids
wants to be in
safe.
a
So I
woman's
touch a lot of
restroom,
sensitive
bathroom, dressing room,
subjects
locker room,
because I want to show that as conservatives we can be compassionate. We can show love.
How does that inform your position on transgender rights?
Well, I'm pro transgender rights. pro-LGBTQ, just don't go to the extreme with our kids.
Trying to erase women. I have to say, for any man that wants to be in a woman's restroom, bathroom, dressing room, locker room, absolutely not.
Decision when they're older. Now, if they want to take on a different pronoun or a different gender identity or grow their hair out or wear a dress or wear pants or do those things as a minor, those are all things that I think most people would support. Be who you want to be, but don't make those permanent changes when it's a child. I mean, that's just abusive.
Even if the parents agree.
Even if the parents agree. When we've read stories, there's a young woman named Chloe who had her breasts removed. She had gender dysphoria. She had a double mastectomy at the age of 15. A year later, she decides at 16, she made a huge mistake. She doesn't want to be a boy. She wants to go back to being a girl. She can't do that now. She's had the hormone blockers. She had her breasts removed. And we've seen, for example, I have a lot of friends that have kids that are autistic or that are on Asperger's.
It's interesting because you actually named one person who had regret about surgery. That was surgery that happened when she was almost 18. You can't name surgeries being done on little kids because it doesn't happen. And the regret that that person felt is real and almost unheard of. Or else you would be showing massive amounts of data, but you're not, because most people don't have that kind of regret and do likely take greater care or care sufficient for them to make a choice they're comfortable with. But what I see here is that you demonstrate at least the language, an architecture of language that is reminiscent of like compassion sounds like when coming out of a human mouth. You're saying things that sound reasonable and allow for things that you may not understand about other people, but that are who they are. It sounds like you are allowing space for other people to be who they are.
On the spectrum, a lot of my friends that have kids on the spectrum, there is a lot of gender dysphoria, especially when they're going for puberty. But it may not be permanent. They may grow out of it. They may decide as an adult, hey, instead of being Johnny, I want to be Jill. That's okay.
Oh, good. It sounds like you understand that individuals have individual consent. And you're fostering the idea that people should, as an adult, have that as something that was protected for them by our society, such that as an adult who can consent, they are the pilot of their own lives. That makes sense. And people can talk about how we come to making sure that that's protected, that people are not harmed or groomed or circumcised without their consent. Those things make a lot of sense. And it seems like you know that that language has cachet, and that's why it was being used. But either you didn't believe it, or you have stopped being in contact with compassion and with love. Because I don't hear that's okay.
But let them figure that out and make that decision when they can consent. A child.
I don't hear this language in the other frame that's more recent.
A child can't consent to getting sterilized. A child can't and should not consent to permanent sex change surgery. That should not be a thing in our country. Well, I'm pro transgender rights.
So, sex change surgery in our country for children is not a thing. It's not. So why are you targeting not the men who you say are coming to attack girls, cis men who are pretending to be women? That's not where we are, right? Nance? Why aren't you going after Matt Gaetz? Why aren't you going after Donald Trump? Why aren't you going after J.D. Vance? Do you know Donald Trump owned pageants? Do you know that he's talked about going into the pageant dressing rooms because he runs the pageant, so he gets to go in and look at girls' boobs when they're 14 years old. Isn't that special? Isn't that exceptional? Isn't that compassionate? Isn't that something that shows love? That he comes in and says, when he sees the look of discomfort and horror that they're going to be raped on their face, and he says, oh, don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. Jumping to Darvo of a 13 and 14 or 14-year-old girl in the massive complex that he owns, in a room that he probably has a key and knows the back door to. And oh, it's okay, I just get to come in because I'm in charge, so I get to inspect the pageant. So you have Trump, again, there, and his minions. Oh gosh, Chevron says I'm an expert. Anybody's an expert. Oh, God, oh, whoa, let me inspect the pageant. You, pedophile booster, are using a Trojan horse because there's no such thing as a trans woman who's actually a man. That's just a man. And that looks like Donald Trump. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. When will she see she's been checkmated? You are a silly Nazi, cuckold Nancy Mace. Why do you keep trying to kill the human race? Nazi. Disgusting Nazi. Because men like Donald Trump and Matt Gaetz and J.D. Vance and Ron DeSantis and Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk are telling you to let them have the keys to the back door at the Trump Tower, where little girls get locked in the tower. Do not tell us you're here to protect women. You are a Trojan blouse. Insane. Totally insane. You actually are the new Ghislaine Maxwell. You are the doorway through which a portal is opened for the new Jeffrey Epstein, Ryan Walters, to design a cavalcade of a whole new playing with little boys and little girls mansion. It's the Trump expansion. It's the worst of times and the bads, the worst of times and the best of times. The worst of times and the best of Epsteins. The best Epsteins and the worst Epsteins. The best of teens and the worst of teens. But are there any teens who are bad, or are they just exploited by people like Barron's dad? You are a menace, and so I want you to expect that because you are lying to people and literally trying to place the target that should be on Donald Trump's forehead or on his pants or on his hands, you are moving the target that should be on Donald Trump onto trans women who are not predator men. You are lying, and you are lynch mobbing because you are a Ku Klux Klan neo-Nazi. You are damage. So please, please expect that you will see a sign when you go out. When you are out in the world, you'll see a sign. And it will tell you that you are not welcome, that you do not belong, that you do not get to have basic human comfort that everyone else has, that you are not as equal as everybody else. You will be instructed that you are garbage by a sign that says you don't belong, just like you are doing. It will say, Nancy, you are the damaged particle of human family trying to corrupt someone once named Nancy Mace. But it will just have slightly different lettering. And it will be there. It will be everywhere. It will be every place you want to be. It will tell you that you are ejected. It will be a sign for you, Nancy. And you will see it wherever you go. This establishment does not have a bathroom for Nancy Mace. This is what you will find. You will find it everywhere. And if you don't, you'll know it's coming. Or maybe you'll know that once you get inside the bathroom, the door will be locked and the police will be called. Because you have shown yourself to be a terrorist. Get mental health care help, Nancy. No one is going to put up with your Nazi bullshit anymore. No one is going to put up with your Nazi bullshit anymore. No one is going to put up with your Nazi bullshit anymore. You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. 6 feet of
Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood?
Sets the fear of separation. Six, the fear of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic.
You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood?
Sets the fear of separation. 6, the fear of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic.
You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger looking into your eyes saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship.
6, the feet of separation.
Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood?
6, the feet of separation. 6 degrees of separation. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. 6 the feet of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. You didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. You didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic. He didn't mean to cause a panic yet. 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. The Nazis lost in World War as ally radar read their crew, and what we knew was probably due. The great American wall builder said, I know what to do. I can use you. Just let it through. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Yet 60 feet of separation. 60 feet of separation. 60 feet of separation. To guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. To guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. To guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. To guard a tree and leave a stump. That's not what I call guardian. You embody a jewel trump. You're a real card, your father's son. You're a real card, your father's suit. You're a real card, your father's suit. It's not the thing you swear upon. It's what your heart was. It's what your heart was. It's what your heart will not abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's how your word becomes action. It's that your words an honest one. How long must you menace us? You do doubt the new Colossus. You're a real card. You're a real card. You're 6 the feet of separation. 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 Six the feet of separation. 6 degrees of separation.
Goodbye, Nazi Mace.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Goodbye, Nazi Menace.
6 the feet of separation.